Hi, everybody. This is Irene Villalobos. I am a local real estate broker in Orange County, and I'm here today with Liz Camaur, and she is a family law attorney. So, Liz, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your firm, and why you chose family law?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here, Irene. I really appreciate it. I am the founder of the firm known as Camaur Crampton Family Law here in Orange County. We also have offices in Los Angeles and San Diego. We have over 100 years combined family law experience. We do just family law, which is divorce, child custody, prenuptial agreements. We do extra added expertise in more complicated cases. We have certified family law specialists. I am personally certified through the highest business schools to deal with business interests. I've got 5 different certificates, 3 from the Harvard Business School, 1 from Wharton, and 1 from the London School of Economics. We handle very, very complicated cases. And basically, I love what I do, which I know sounds unusual. I'm a strong believer that our biggest problems can be our best opportunities in life. And when people are going through family law, their highest priorities are at issue. Their children, their homes, their income, their businesses. It is a very frightening time. And it's a limbo because the parties don't have control over what goes on unless they can resolve and amicably agree on the issues. And what we do is we focus on their ultimate goals and their ultimate outcome and strategize for those goals. We're not reactionary. We are instead forward thinking in where we want to go. That can be extremely important. One example, which I'm sure you'd appreciate, Irene, some people come in and they say, I just need to stay in my house. It looks like right now everything's changing and I need to stay in my house. And so we talk to them about their goals. Well, where do you want to live in 5 years? And if they say to me, well, my grandchildren are in Colorado and I'm thinking of moving there, then I have the discussion with them. Okay, your goal is ultimately to be in Colorado. If you keep the house, you're going to pay for it at a premium. You're going to pay the fair market value less the loans on it, the true equity. You're not going to take into account the broker fees, the capital gains taxes. Whereas if it's sold during the divorce, you share those costs. So what you would do is if you want to keep the house, you end up buying it at a premium. And then when you want to go to Colorado, you take on the capital gains and the broker's fees and all that on your own. So it's really important to be forward thinking and look at the goals. And there are a lot of attorneys out there would say, you want to keep the house, we'll fight for you, without explaining, hey, this is where you want to go. That may not be the best route to get there.
That. I love that, Liz, because like you said, most attorneys are just going to, this is what you want, we're going to fight for it, which in a sense could make the divorce drag out a lot longer as well. So
exactly. And they may run out of money before they get what they ultimately wanted.
Right. Okay, so that's great information right there. A lot of people, they have marriage issues. Everybody has marriage issues, right? So what is some of the advice that you would give for them to, see an attorney or when thinking of divorce?
Okay. I'm asked all the time, should I get a divorce? And I can't answer that for somebody. My role in my profession is not to, whoa, everybody get a divorce. That's wonderful. That's not what the goal is. What it is to people who are in toxic situations or marriages that they want to terminate, to get them to a better place. And so when they ask me that, I usually say to them, think of somebody that you love, like your child, let's say it's your daughter, and imagine they were in your shoes in this relationship, married to somebody just like your spouse, what would you tell them to do? Well, and that, and it's typically what, because
Yeah.
you love your kids,
Right.
and sometimes if they don't have kids, I'll say your niece, or your nephew, and because you love and you protect them. And when you ask them what they would want somebody they love to do, they're great at giving advice to other people, but not themselves, because they feel this obligation. And it's very emotional, so they're not thinking straight. So when you put yourself as a third party, and whatever the advice is they would give to that person who they love so much is the advice they should take.
They should take, right.
And the other piece of that is a lot of people stay together for the kids, but the problem is they don't realize they're a role model of a relationship and a marriage for their own children. And if they would want their children to be out of that relationship, then they need to be a role model for that.
Right.
Otherwise, there is a vicious cycle that will go.
Continue generations to generations, yes. So speaking of children, it's even more difficult during a divorce involving children. So are there ways that you could recommend that would make it easier for the children during this time?
Oh, absolutely. And again, it's very emotional. And a lot of times people want to be right and they get caught up in that they want to win.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times the children are the casualties. And it's not intentional. Nobody's intentionally trying to put their children in the middle. But they have to realize you want your child to be a child.
Right.
They shouldn't be the person who you're crying to and who is providing you support during this time. When, like I said, it's a very confusing time during this limbo. Multiply that by 10 for the kids.
Right.
Because they have no control what's going
Exactly.
on.
Exactly.
One of the first things I would do is hopefully it's amicable enough where the two parents can sit down and coordinate and talk to a counselor about how to tell the children that they're going to be going through a divorce and to work with it that way. So it's the most healthy situation, rather than, your father cheated on me or your mother left me. You want your child to have a good relationship with the other parent to the best that the circumstances allow. So
Right.
bad mouthing the other parent just poisons your child.
Exactly.
And hurts your child.
Yeah.
Don't use them as messengers. Watch out for signs that they're in distress. And if so, make sure they get the counseling they need. Cooperate where you can, as long as it's safe.
Right.
And work together, because even though they're not going to make it as spouses, chances are they're going to be parents the rest of their life of these children.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
you want to have a relationship where you can co-parent and be a team. That's not always possible, but where it is, it can be an amazing thing for the kids to have both parents sitting there at the soccer game applauding the kids. Even though they're divorced, they're both there as a united team. They have their choice. They can go to graduations, plays, basketball games, weddings, and sit on the opposite ends of the room and make their child incredibly embarrassed and uncomfortable. Or they can sit next to each other and applaud.
Right. That's what my ex-husband and I did. As a matter of fact, some of the parents in the kids' schools, they didn't even know we were divorced for and it had already been 5 years, because we went to everything together as a family. And I never told, my husband cheated on me. I never told my children that. They found out when they got older as adults. And I never said anything because I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to pit him against, my kids, and I didn't want to do that. So I understand.
It's not an issue for their relationship as child and father.
It's not. It's not. So
You know, and so yeah, I commend you. You did a great service to your children and probably saved them many years of therapy. So
I hope so.
yeah, right.
Anyway, back to your firm. I understand that your approach is different than most firms. So, can you explain how your firm approaches the family law cases that come to your door?
Absolutely. One of our company values, probably the most important, is empowerment. And like I said earlier, we're strong believers that the biggest problems can be the best opportunities. I had somebody one time describe it to me as, have you ever seen, you know, like there's an open door and a window, and you see a fly hitting the window over and over again. And if you take your hand and you brush the fly and it makes it out the door, it's very traumatic for the fly, but they made it to where they wanted to go. And sometimes our biggest problems are that hand trying to push us out the door, you know, to where we really, to a better place. And if you look at your big problems and you're focusing on the future and where you want to go, instead of the rear view mirror at the blame and the regret, it can be an amazing opportunity. But you have to be looking for it instead of stuck in the regret. And that's what a lot of the work we do with our clients is, like I said earlier, focusing them on their goals, where they want to go in life, how they want to learn from this and, you know, make a better life for themselves. So, you know, we try and get them out of the bad stuff, because if they're stuck in the blame and the regret, they're never going to get over the divorce or the child custody battle. It will be there.
Yes, and that's amazing what you just said right now, because that's huge, you know, like instead of, you know, focusing on, like you said, the regret and the blame and the pain and all that, you know, I love that. I really love that. So thank you for your time today. And there's so much more I want to talk to you about. So I hope we could do this again sometime soon. So can you please leave your firm information? So anybody watching this, they want more information, they know how to reach you.
Thank you so much for having me, Irene. I've really enjoyed our discussion. And people can contact us. Our office phone number is 949-234-8280. Or our website's very easy, divorce.legal, www.divorce.legal. There's no .com, it's divorce.legal.
Nice.
Thank you, Irene. Thanks so much. I enjoyed this.
Thank you so much, Liz. I did too. It was great. So you have a great rest of the week, and bye, everybody. Join us again soon. Thank you.